Hi guys, welcome to my channel once again. This is Batok with Ola. My name is Mujala Olua. Like I promised in the last two videos on wills and codicils, this is the video showing a sample will and a sample codicil. But first, let's talk about the formal parts of a will. The first part we'll talk about is the commencement clause. Now, I'd like to talk about the formal parts of a will vis-a-vis the clauses that are contained in a will, the clauses that you should look out for that would show you that you have covered all bases, or that your lawyer has covered all bases, in drafting your will. We have the commencement clause. That clause is the clause that opens the will. That's where you say, oh, this is the last will and testament of I, so and so person, living at so and so. Basically stating that it's your last will and testament as a testator and giving us your address, your last known address, your name and your last known address. So that's a commencement clause. And then we have date, showing the date when the will was made this dash day of dash 2021. And of course, we have the revocation clause. That's the clause that annuls any earlier will or codicil made by you or the testator in this case, and affirming that the present will, this one that we are reading, is the last testamentary act of the testator. It's your last testamentary act. So it says, I revoke all formal testamentary documents or dispositions made by me. Then we have the appointment clause. That's where you appoint your personal representatives and trustees. I appoint so and so as my so and so. Then we have the charging clause. That's where you permit and mandate your personal representatives and any person acting in that capacity to charge for any services they render as your representative, to charge for any services they render as your representatives. So you could say, I declare that my executors shall charge, or I authorize my executors to charge, because ordinarily executors are allowed to charge for their services. So if you're making that provision, you have to state it expressly. Charge so and so from so and so for their services in so and so capacity. And then we have the gifts. Very important, the most important clause, the gift clause. That's where you give out all your legacies and devices to respective beneficiaries. I give so and so to so and so. I give my so and so to my so and so. Then we have the residuary clause, which states who will be entitled to the remainder of the estate after you might have given out everything you want to give out. What is left? Who will inherit it? Who will take it? I declare that the remainder of my estate shall, or I give to so and so the remainder of my estate, as the case may be. And then we have the substitution clause. In case any gift fails or ceases to exist at the death of the testator, there's a substitution clause which will make a provision for what should happen to such gifts. And of course, we have the testimonium, which is that phrase, in witness of which. That's the testimonium. And of course, we have the execution and attestation clause, where you sign and your witnesses sign. Signed as his last will by the above named testator in our joint presence, and then by us in his presence. Or signed by the above named testator in the joint presence of us and each other, who in his presence and that of each other have subscribed our names as witnesses. So let's look at a sample will now. It opens like this. This is the last will and testament of me, retired General Madeline Iyetide Eyumi, of number 7 Peace Close, Happy Land Estate, Ajah, Lagos, the testator, made on the 7th day of October 2021. Now note that this is the commencement clause. It has to have that declaration. This is the last will and testament of me, or of I. Then you put your name, your full name and title. You put your alias if you have any alias, and then you put your full address, your last known address. It's called last known because we are assuming that you would have died when this is going to be read. So last known address, and then the date the will is made. So that's the commencement clause and the date, of course. And then I revoke all previous testamentary dispositions made by me, and I declare this will to be my last will. That's the revocation clause. I appoint Prof. Shijuade Eyewumi of number 16 Unity Estate, Shangotedo, Lagos State, Dr. Peace Gambo of number 33 Odunlade Street, Shomolu, Lagos State, and Mrs. Ade Jones Nee Eyewumi of 48 Jones Close, Ilupeju, Lagos State, to be the executors in bracket trustees of my will. Now this is the point where you appoint the clause that allows you to appoint the people that will execute, your personal representatives that would manage your property and that would administer your estate after your demise. So appointing this excludes the state stepping in as the administrator, or letters of administration having to be sought for the administration of your estate. Since you have appointed executors, all that is done away with. So you have to state your executors' full names and address. Very important, unequivocally stated, so that there's no mix-up and nobody thinks that, oh, they mean this person when you actually mean that person. Then I declare that my executors or any professional or person engaged in proving my will and administering the estate may charge reasonable fee for their services. Very important. So you put the charging clause. So reasonable fees, because if you put a fee and at the time the will is being read or the estate is being administered, that fee is no longer reasonable, or is not commensurate to the work that is being done by the executors, it might cause a problem. So that's why you put reasonable fees, and then you say that they may charge these fees for their services. Yeah, very important. Now let's go to the gift clause. This is where you can give practically anything to anybody. So this is where all those types of gifts, residuary gift, conditional gift, absolute gift, pecuniary annuity, and all forms of gifts that we talked about in the earlier video, this is where they come up. So I've just put a few examples. I'm sure that you could think up some other examples, according to all the types of gifts that we discussed in the earlier video. So you could say, I give my 5-bedroom bungalow at number 20 Tinubu Street, Marina, to my first son, Prof. Shijuade Eyewumi of number 16 Unity Estate, Shangotedo, Lagos State. So this is a specific. So this is a specific gift. Specific because we're talking about the 5-bedroom bungalow at Tinubu, number 20 Tinubu Street, Marina. So very important. So there's no mix-up here. No mix-up is allowed. It's a specific gift, and you're giving it to your first son. Then I give my Toyota Prado Jeep with plate number 2405E8 to my first and only daughter, Mrs. Ade Jones, Nee Eyewumi of 48 Jones Close, Ilupeju, Lagos State. That's another specific gift. Now you notice that there's a house and then there's a Jeep. So you could give legacies and you could give devices. So but all are gifts. I explained what legacies and devices are in the earlier video. I hope you see it. I'll leave a link to those two videos in the description box. So these are the gift clauses. Then the third clause, I give all my gold jewelry kept with Rose Bank PLC Marina branch to my niece, Feyikemi Gbadebo of number 13 Oworonshoki, Lagos State. We talked about this as well in the earlier video. So that's a demonstrative gift. The gold jewelry with Rose Bank, kept with Rose Bank. So we know that, there's not going to be any confusion regarding that gift. All the gold jewelry kept with Rose Bank will go to Feyikemi. It's a demonstrative gift. For better explanation, please watch the two earlier videos. So now we've seen devices and we've seen legacies. I explained that devices are immovables, like the bungalow given to Prof. Shijuade, while legacies are movables, chattels, choices in action, monies and all of that, like the Toyota Prado and the gold jewelry. Now, the residuary clause, I give the remainder of my estate to my son, Prof. Shijuade Eyewumi of number 16, Unity Estate, Shangotedo, Lagos State, and my daughter, Mrs. Ade Jones, Nee Eyewumi of 48 Jones Close, Ilupeju, Lagos State, in equal share. So that's the residuary clause. The remainder of the estate, after they might have given out all the devices and legacies to the appropriate, beneficiaries, whatever is left from the estate will go to the son and the daughter. Now, in witness of which I, retired General Madeline Iyetide Iwumi of number 7 Peace Close, Happy Land Estate, Ajah, Lagos, the testator, have executed this will in the manner below, the day and year first above written, signed by the testator in the presence of us both, and at the same time, who at our presence subscribed our names as witnesses. So the testator signs first, and then the witnesses will sign under the testator. So we have the first witness, Bolaji Johnson, name, address, occupation, day, and signature. We have the second witness, Mujisola Thompson, address, occupation, date, and signature. So that's basically what a will is. You could make provisions for your burial as well and put any other instruction, in the will that would ensure that your estate is properly cared for and your legacy is well preserved. You can put all those instructions in your will. So it's not limited to this. This is just a sample. But I hope that, it gives you an idea of what a will is all about. You declare who you are, your last known address, you revoke all previous testamentary dispositions and state that that's your final will, your final testamentary disposition, and then you make provision for remuneration for your executors. You appoint those executors, make provision for their remuneration, and then you give out whatever you want to give out. You make provision for the residuary, you make provisions for the remainder of your estate, and then you basically just sign and get two witnesses to sign. So it's really very simple. I hope that you now know what a will is all about, and I hope that this basic sample, very basic sample, serves as a pointer, to you. So let's look at a sample codicil. Now, I said that a codicil is like an amendment to a will. So there must have been a will, and then a codicil comes if you want to amend or alter something in the will, or if you want to make supplementary provisions and you do not want to cancel the will or destroy it outright. So that's when you make a codicil. Now let's look at it. It's very similar to a will with slight differences. This is the first codicil to the last will and testament of me, retired General Madeline Iyetide Iwumi of number 7 Peace Close, and on and on and on, made on the 8th day of November 2021. So also the commencement clause, the date, revocation, what you want to revoke in the formal will, or whatever it is you want to change in the formal will that's making you make this codicil, you go ahead and put it. So here I revoke clause 5 of my will, made on the 7th day of October 2021, and confirm the will in all other respects. So you'd see that, regarding the gifts, this is the only thing that's been changed, clause 5. Every other thing is confirmed. So now the second thing is, I give all my residuary estate to my sister Shade John of number 1 Penn Cinema Road, Ikeja, Lagos, and Prof. Shiju Ade, and then Mrs. Ade Jones. So now what's changed in the residuary clause as well is that the sister Shade John has been added to those beneficiaries of the remainder of the estate, and of course, in witness of which, the execution and attestation as in a will as well. So in witness of which I, retired General Madeline Iyetide Iwumi of number 7 and on and on and on, I've executed this codicil in the manner below, the day and year first above written, signed by the testator in the presence of us both, and at the same time, who at her presence subscribed our names as witnesses. So the testator signs, and then the witnesses sign as well. So basically that's a codicil. But like I said in the earlier videos, if you're making too many codicils, the best thing is to just annul everything and make a fresh will. But if it's just minimal alterations or supplementary provisions, you can go ahead and make a codicil, and it will stand and suffice as your instructions regarding the earlier will that you have made. Once it's properly attested, signed by you, the testator, and the witnesses. So that's basically what a sample will and a sample codicil are all about. So you've seen the clauses that must be present for it to be a formal will and a valid will. So I will see you in my very next video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Toodles.